God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down! No!
Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 5. And this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Episode 2 of Season 5, otherwise entitled Blocked. But of course, before we get into anything else, let's actually watch that trailer.
Is this part of my training?
Just watch.
God, look at you move. She never wants to leave her dad's side.
I think it's time for you to get back to basics. Oh. It takes time to hone your skills.
Gotcha.
That's enough for that.
The Flash, all new episode this Tuesday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
So just quickly on the music from that trailer, it sounded very in line with the music from the Incredibles movies, which I think is fitting, seeing we are dealing with a parent-child superhero team with Barry and Nora. I don't know if that was intentional, like they were going for like that sort of theme, but that's what I first thought of when I heard that music in the trailer. Don't know if I was the only one, but if you go back and watch that trailer again, listen to the music, it sounds like the Incredibles music, or at least, you know, very similar. But of course, before we actually break down the trailer, we will quickly go over the synopsis for this episode or the description, as it does give us like a better idea as to what is going on. But of course, before that, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below what you're looking forward to most from this episode based off the trailer and some other stuff we go over in this video. And also let me know what was your favorite part from episode 1, because I'm curious. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support for the Flash videos. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. As Barry helps his daughter, Nora, become a better speedster, he and Team Flash also track down a meta stealing high-tech weapons, only to cross paths with a new foe named Cicada, who is hunting the very same meta with nefarious intent. So we start the trailer off by seeing Barry and Nora are situated in that same area that we saw Caitlin, Cisco and Ralph in right at the end of last episode, where we found out that Caitlin's father's death certificate isn't official. But we see Nora getting shown footage of Barry in his training days back in Season 1, another Season 1 throwback, just after he woke up from his coma back then. So obviously we've seen all of this, but Nora hasn't. Now, I saw some people saying that this was just them like throwing back for the sake of throwing back, for nostalgia, because they are obviously trying to make this season very much like Season 1, not only in tone, but also in regards to storytelling. But that isn't really the case. Like, sure, I think it's a factor in it. Like, I think it's like you know, people will like the Season 1 throwbacks and stuff like that. But the main point of Barry showing this to Nora is just to let her know, like, hey, I was a massive noob speedster at one stage as well, so don't worry. Because as we know, Nora isn't exactly spilling with confidence in regards to her skills as a speedster. She is used to stuff, you know, from the Flash Museum, where it shows Barry just being like extremely good as the Flash and just taking down enemies. But none of the real bad things. It's not showing like Barry slipping over and stuff like that. So this should like hopefully give Nora like not an extreme amount of confidence, but at least some confidence that she can get better at what she's doing, because her father at one point was hopeless as well. But I must say, the fact that in episode 1 we got that parallel like monologue slash like inspirational speech, like motivational sort of thing from Wellsabard and Barry, and now we are getting that footage from Season 1 with Wellsabard, like essentially, you know, in the role that Barry will be in this season, mentoring and nurturing a young and inexperienced speedster on how to like best harness and embrace their abilities. So I wonder if at various points this season, or at least the early parts, we will get more examples of Barry like straight up taking the lessons and advice that Wellsabard gave him and pass that on to Nora. It would be made even more interesting if we saw like Reverse Flash show up again at some point this season, whether that be in the 100th episode, which will be episode 8 this season, or somewhere else in the season. But anyway, continuing on with Barry the mentor, we do see him swapping being a speedster to being a teacher of speed. Like, what would you call that? Speed teacher? I don't know. Maybe speed professor. That's probably the better term. With Barry setting up like a little homeschool, if you want to call it, for Nora to learn more about her powers and just the Speed Force in general about it. But specifically, it looks like they might focus on the science around of it all. Barry does put some books down in front of her, one of which has the letters VEL, so I'm guessing this is a textbook or just like a book on velocity. But just a little bit of a prediction here, I don't really think Nora would be too keen to be hitting the books again. Like, she isn't dumb, she's smart, she's obviously a CSI like her father, but I think she is more interested in like the practical side of things rather than the theory. So I don't blame you. I was always a practical guy as well. Like, when you're in science class, stuff this, let's get the chemicals out, the Bunsen burner, let's blow some crap up. She never wants to leave her dad's side. Now, that is said by Iris. It looks like that is in Joe's house. Like, it looks like we're in Joe's house here based off like the roof. Or the roof or the ceiling. The ceiling's the right term, so the ceiling. So you would have to think Iris is talking to her dad here, So we knew going into this season that Nora's, well, addiction to spending time with her dad and her lack of desire to spend time with her mother was going to cause some tensions, probably the best word to use, between both Barry and Iris. But due to the events of episode 1, in which Barry decides to keep the information that Nora told him, to himself, this could cause a larger eruption when things eventually reach that stage. Barry basically vouched for Nora to stay back due to him knowing what happens and him wanting to actually spend time with Nora and for her to, finally spend time with him. So on Barry's end, he won't mind all the time and attention that Nora is giving him. But with Iris, it could slowly get to her because she doesn't know what happens in the future. They're like, she's the only one there. But you got to remember, Iris is an investigative journalist, so it wouldn't take her too long to get a sniff on something, possibly fishy going on. But yeah, the big question around this is obviously, when will Barry reveal what is supposed to happen? Or possibly even worse for Barry, when will someone stumble across that information and cause a big hoopla about it? That's the big question. I think we'll get in the first half of this season, but they might leave it to episode 5 or 6. That's my prediction, but who knows when. They could literally reveal it to leave it to towards the end of the season if they wanted to. But we do see Nora and Barry hit the outside world for some of that practical work as they face off against a new meta for this episode, with Barry saying it takes time to hone your skills, which would have me very surprised if Nora did anything of a grand scale in this episode. I could see her being more of a negative effect on this episode rather than a positive. And that's solely based off past experiences when Barry has been with a new speedster and trained them. Obviously, I'm referring to Wally and Jesse, who on their first outings weren't, well, the greatest, especially Jessie. She was a bit, how are you going? But eventually they came good. But the villain or meta that Barry and Nora are facing off here is called Vanessa Jansen. That's her name. Now, that isn't a character from the comics, and I think she could just be an original character for the show. I mean, they have used a ridiculous amount of comic book villains already for literally small parts. Remember Shade, how they wasted Shade back in season 3? Wow. So I don't blame them for just making one up, especially when they are most likely just bait for the episode. But she will be played by Erin Cummings, that's the actress. And in regards to her powers, I have no clue what is going on. It almost looks like she has the ability to trap you in gelatin or something like that. It's almost like Flubber. Remember that movie from the 1990s with Robin Williams? Great movie, that one. I suggest it. But yeah, that was one of my first thoughts when I saw it. I was like, is that Flubber that's just surrounding the Flash? What's going on there? But we do see Nora with this sort of shocked facial expression, and I don't think it is due to anything happening with Barry and the Flubber stuff. This could be someone getting attacked by Cicada. We know thanks to promo images that this will be the area in which Barry and other members of Team Flash, including Cisco and Ralph as well, will first come across Cicada. And it won't be because he is looking for them, it's because, as the synopsis says, he is looking for the meta, Vanessa Jansen. As we know from the end of episode 1, Cicada is looking to kill all metas, or at least wanting them all to die, but if no one else is going to do it, I guess he is going to have to get his hands, or lightning bolt dagger, a bit dirty and bloody. But Nora could also be looking at Cisco here as well, as we do know that Cisco is going to get his hand stabbed by the dagger, and most likely taking away his powers. Which could then lead into the episode to follow this one, that being episode 3, which is otherwise entitled The Death of Vibe. As we do see in the promo images, everyone looking at a screen, or they're looking somewhere, with a pretty worried face by the looks of it. And there could be that newspaper article that was leaked a couple of months back that did say Vibe dead. And you do see Nora here with an even more shocked and almost tormented face, as if she knows she has messed up. And speaking of Nora messing up, this is the perfect segue into a couple of quick topics to end the video. So the first one, Nora's mistake. Now in my review yesterday, I did fail to go over Nora saying she made up her mistake in order to stick around and all of that. It just got, cut out essentially. But that is obviously a lie. Not the whole punching the satellite for fun, I think she actually did that. That could and most likely is real. However, Nora has made a mistake. It's pretty obvious. Her being here is one of those mistakes. And I do think that this episode, episode 2, is going to be the first example of this mistake playing out. They did say that we will learn about those 4 points that she showed up last season. So the wedding, the two times at Jitters, and then Cecile's baby shower, and how they will fold into this season's story. They're actually going to go, we're not going to go back there physically, but they're going to reference them and they're going to come back into play this season. I don't know how, they just are. Now, whether they are vital is another question in itself, but Nora has still made a mistake regardless. So please don't be fooled by the show saying that the mistake wasn't real. Please don't be fooled by that. It's almost like they're treating us like idiots or something, because it's so clear she's made a mistake. It's so bloody clear she's made a mistake. So don't be fooled by them saying the mistake isn't real. it's still there. It's not the satellite incident. I don't think it is the satellite incident. I don't think anyone thought it was the satellite incident that was the mistake. But there is something else there that she has stuffed up. And when we find out about it, it's going to be interesting. But I think this episode here, episode 2, is going to be the first example of what her mistake has caused. And of course, we do know that there's going to be secrets as well that will be revealed. Now, obviously, one of the secrets you would have to think was the whole Barry being gone for 25 years. I don't know if we can include that as a secret. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, lay down the track to see how many more are revealed, to see if that one really counts as one. I don't know if you'd, let me know in the comments, would you count that as a secret? I don't know. But also, in regards to that satellite incident, it looks like that is the source of that dagger. Now, on the handle of the dagger that Cicada is carrying around, it does appear to have the letters L-A-B, as in lab, as in short for laboratory. And it is in the font of the Star Labs font. And as we know, it was the Star Labs satellite that crashed down, that Barry and Nora punched, that basically sprayed all this different scrap metal around that was littered with dark matter. And that dagger reeks of dark matter. It's an extremely smelly dagger and just smells so bad. It just reeks of dark matter. It's ridiculous. No amount of air freshener could cover that dark matter. Now, whether we find out early on whether that's the actual source for it or if we have to wait a bit is another question. But we did see in another trailer from before the shows came back that Iris had footage of Cicada walking through some area that was on fire, which did appear to be the satellite crash area. It was at night, there was a lot of fire going on, so that's what it looked like. So we could see that scene in this episode, episode 2, or it could have been deleted from episode 1, who knows. We already know that they already did delete a scene between Joe and Barry from episode 1, so who knows what else they deleted from episode 1. Maybe there was just too much footage and they just had to get rid of it, or maybe they thought it spoiled too much and just wasn't necessary to put in the episode. We'll have to wait and find out. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and it to show your support for the Flash videos and the trailer breakdowns in general. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on the trailer, what you're looking forward to the most from this episode based on the trailer and the promo images and stuff like that. And yeah, just give me your general thoughts on the stuff we went over in this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.